herO, NightMare, RagnaroK, ByuN. Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, Live, 2023, GSL Season 2.
This is it, guys. We are going to end this evening with the rematch. herO played out of his mind versus RagnaroK. He beat him. He's here now. NightMare, he did lose to ByuN, but let's not forget, he beat herO. He beat herO 2-0. They were pretty one-sided games. But can he do it 2 more times? Did he spend all of his strats in that best of 3?
I'm sure he has more tricks up his sleeve. The question that I have is whether herO's going to be able to adjust from that best of 3 to this one and be ready for him, because there were moments, even when herO was losing against NightMare, where you can see that he did have the edge in some facets of his game. Anytime they had big engagements, you could always feel like herO was controlling his units a little bit better. He was always navigating his army in a position to set up those big arcs when he needed to. Oftentimes painting NightMare into a corner, even when NightMare had the advantage, but NightMare, just through superior decision-making, better builds, able to deliver the 2-0 win, he's gonna have to lean on that really hard here. He's gonna have to try and outsmart herO yet again if he wants to beat him again in this best of 3.
2023 GSL Season 2. DKZ Gaming, herO. Club NV, NightMare.
So look, I mean, herO is the guy coming in today. I actually thought he was going to get out first. You know, maybe I haven't wrapped my head around, you know, how much the skills have kind of shifted as far as who's on top. But, you know, I did season 1 kind of talking about how, you know, it might very well be a herO championship, a herO finals, maybe a herO, you know, final 4 at the minimum. Now herO still looks good, but what a story it would be if NightMare won here. I mean, oh my God.
That would be crazy.
That would be wild. So I'm not against it. I'm going to be happy with it no matter who advances. But again, I gotta repeat it. I mentioned this in the first best of 3, but we're all the way to the final best of 3 of the day now. NightMare has always been, like, you know, in Star Trek, they have all the main characters, and then there would be like this one extra guy you never saw before in an episode, and he gets killed like when they land on the planet.
That's NightMare.
That was
every
NightMare. Yes, it was like they'd be like, "Who's this guy?" Oh, all right, he gets zapped, he dies, and that creates some kind of drama. That, you know, NightMare does not normally go deep in GSLs. He's normally he's good, but you know, and he can hang, he can qualify for a GSL, which is a feat of its own, right?
Especially now that it's top 16.
Yeah. But he's played really well today. I think he got a little bit shaky against ByuN, and that if he does advance, that's something that I worry about, is he might not be as good against Terran. But PvP is a real tricky, mind-gamey matchup, and the fact that he was able to duke it out with herO and 2-0 crush him is exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm curious to see exactly what the build order plan is going to be here from NightMare, because remember, going all the way back to game number 1, he did that proxy gateway in the middle of the map.
He's doing this again now too, by the way.
Yeah, pylon here. Again. Unfortunately for him, it's Stalkers coming out instead of Adepts, and so the question is whether herO's actually going to reveal that he made these Stalkers, and it looks like no. He wants this pylon to finish so that he can kill it. Instead, it will finally get canceled there, but a nice play there by herO. If NightMare had allowed that pylon to finish, it would have been very bad for him, and now he gets a confirmation on the Stalkers as they should be able to get that probe. Yeah. Do take it out. And double sentry here for NightMare, but yeah, back to the point I was making earlier, I'm very curious about how he's going to be navigating his build orders and his strategies over the course of this best of 3 series, because I do feel like despite him winning 2-0 in the first match of the day, he's a little bit outclassed, especially when it comes to control, and he's going to have to find his edge somewhere else in the game, you know?
Yeah.
In the first series, it was with his build orders, it was with his decision making. Second series might have to be something like that again.
So he's got a little bit of pressure on over here. The battery's ready to try to repair this. We do have the fork in the road here. The path is being chosen for each side. For the Red Protoss NightMare, he's going to go for the Twilight Council, whereas herO is going for the Robo. Now, the Twilight Council alone doesn't really tell you what tech it is. It could be TTs, it could be Blink.
I think it's going to be TTs, Taze. Look at this pylon over here in the top right. And herO, are you scouting for this? He might be. Is that bird? Is the Artosis bird? It's yapping again.
Where is it? I don't see the
chirping.
bird.
It was there at the ramp. It told him. It told the stalkers.
Skill.
They were ready to go
Afraid
home.
of late game. Can't macro.
It was chirping at the ramp. You see that bird? You better start scouting, man.
That bird's gonna tell, man.
All right, so that does get shut down there. NightMare queues up Blink. I don't know if DT actually was going to be the option or if we just want to have a pylon on the map. But these adepts should be able to work their way into the main base. Oh no, hold that thought actually. Shield battery able to pop in. Unfortunately for herO, he actually had 2 probes that were still right next to the ramp, so the adepts were still able to get damage.
So, you know, the Warp Prism coming. This should prompt the rush to start. Does he actually have a material advantage to try to push this as he comes in?
Well, for herO, I feel like there is a chance. Now, it is a little bit more difficult for him because his opponent didn't go for robotics. I think herO would be happier if NightMare, say, was producing an Immortal right now, because there's a chance that if you do push into the natural ramp there as herO, you can section that 1 unit off and kill it. But with the Phoenix Scout, hallucinated from the Sentry, he gets a look in there at the natural expansion, sees the Stalker and the Sentry count is very high for NightMare, so Blink is most likely going to be the tech of choice, and he does not want to overextend, because if you take a bad fight against a Blink player on their side of the map, you are not getting home.
All right, he is coming from behind over here. He slipped in undetected, and this can pry the, you know, the army that's in the front of the second base here out. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he actually had more army out there to attack on the front. No. But this is fine. You get 5 kills, and you know there's a big cavity back here that you can kind of hang out over. So far, so good. I'm a little bit worried right now, by the way, for NightMare. I mean, taking a 3rd Nexus right now with Immortals out for herO. Unless I'm missing something, I mean, this seems to be pretty straightforward. I think you could probably kill this with a push.
I think you need Blink on herO's side to actually be able to levy the odds, or balance the odds. So herO probably going to take a 3rd base of his own, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did basically what you're talking about, stay on a low probe count, build up an army, and then try to go do a timing attack, especially after killing all those workers from NightMare earlier. As look at the production tab, Blink now about halfway done, and once that Blink is finished, herO's going to be very comfortable moving across the map, because then he can really go tit for tat with a force of NightMare being as Blink Stalker heavy as it is.
Okay, so he's coming up through the top now. We've got the hallucinated Phoenix that's going to glide through and just do a quick scout, see what exactly is going on.
herO still on 3 gases. Actually, both players still on 3 gases, so really emphasizing unit production on both sides.
And I think this is the time to pounce for herO. I think he's going to move out, and he is going to... I don't know. I don't know that NightMare can survive this. I mean, I don't see Immortals with this army, and I mean, there's already a decent amount. You have 2 Immortals, in fact, over here.
Yeah, wow. herO actually blinking to get the superior arc here on the top side, but Shield Battery being very useful here on the ramp. Gotta be careful.
Oddly placed Sentry there. It's going to be in the front. Oh, a Blink on top. Hold up.
Whoa. NightMare coming in with that Blink right when the Immortal finishes, able to take both Immortals out of herO's army, as herO had no reinforcements here. And now recalling back home, I guess, yeah, there's Adepts coming in.
I was about to say, what is happening here? Oh my God, immediately shuts that down. The Adepts are on the loose, though, in the main, trying to get as many kills as they can.
Some nice picks here by these Adepts. I was wondering this whole time where that Warp Prism was, because it wasn't reinforcing the front line there for herO, but instead able to get 7 probes in total between those 2 bases. But keep in mind, losing 2 Immortals for herO means that his army composition not as powerful as it once was. He's a little bit ahead in probes right now. Stalker count's dead even at 19 to 19. herO is opting to go for Charge Zealot a little bit faster than NightMare here. NightMare actually, in fact, has not even started it. I thought that he for sure would have had that in production already. As maybe NightMare now is going to be the one that's looking to make a timing work with Blink Stalkers.
All right, so the Stalkers are going to come down here and chase this. And I got to say, NightMare really can hang with the very best here in PvP. I mean, it's being proven again here in this game. Another drop's going to come in, excuse me, from the top. And, you know, one thing herO's been very effective with since the very beginning is he's always keeping the probe count just a little bit lower.
Yeah, these depth drops have been so valuable in that sense. And NightMare, although he is poking and prodding here with these, another recall coming in for 2 adepts. So want to lose his few units. Was that, wait, what got recalled there? Was it just like these 2 units?
Yeah, I think he recalled like 2 Stalkers. It was a very weird moment.
Recall, like the animation popped, I'm like, wait, what? Is this more units than it was before?
I thought for a second it was the Warp Prism from like earlier that might have had the adepts, but I guess not.
Yeah, so DT tech coming in now for herO. It's about halfway done. NightMare, he doesn't have that much detection on the field. And actually,
oh, what? What is happening? Oh.
Yeah, herO is warping in over here on the pylon. I feel like NightMare missed this. I think his attention is elsewhere right now, as he absolutely could have caught those units warping in. And now, yeah, pivoting back towards the bottom left side.
By the way, we're going into late game PvP here. Is he just going to blink right in?
Tasteless, NightMare has 0 observers on the field right now. That Dark Shrine is...
Oh my god.
I think it's done. All right, Blink coming in here from herO, pouncing on these Stalkers. Waiting to see the reinforcements from herO. If you can recognize there's no observers here for NightMare, this can turn disastrous very quickly. Oh man, he's going for it.
This is wild. NightMare trying to fight back. The Immortal's still over here, able to deal some more damage. And another wave of Zealots is going to come in here. He's going to have this observer coming. He's going to see that there is no detection over this.
Yeah, surprisingly, no Dark Templar warped in just yet here for herO, just warping in Charge Zealots instead and often go for that. I actually am wondering whether the Dark Shrine, for whatever reason, might have gotten canceled, because
yeah,
you would think
get it.
that it was halfway done. You would think that by now it would have been warped in, right?
I mean, I'm as confused as you. I was, you know, trying to set up that moment for a while. Is
I
it
think
not
he
here?
canceled it.
Okay.
I don't see it in the main base, which is surprising because, again, there's been no observers on the field here for NightMare whatsoever. So even if the Dark Shrine had gotten scouted.
By the way, NightMare is going to be on 4 bases, and we haven't really seen herO push in and actually break the 3rd base position for NightMare.
I still can't believe there's no Dark Shrine on the field. That would have been a game changer here. Instead, herO blinking in once again is able to focus down that first Immortal. Now, NightMare is warping in some adepts to try and soften the blow of these Charged Zealots. And okay, herO committing, blinking in, taking down the shield battery, force fields as well, sectioning off these Stalkers as more units are getting warped in. Probes now falling on the front line. Does herO have enough to break him?
Yeah, and he's just going to continue to try to come in here and hit this. It seems like NightMare could just barely have enough. This Immortal's still doing a lot of work, but I think NightMare might be able to blink back. He's going to be able to take out that Immortal and everything else that came with it.
Oh my goodness, NightMare just has just enough Stalkers able to snowball it. herO loses game number 1. I can't believe it. I still want to know what the story is with that Dark Shrine, because I feel like 2 DTs, one in the main base, one in the natural. I mean, of course, herO can't know that there is no observers yet on the field, but
yeah, we saw the observer go in there, and that's what I thought. Okay, well, this will you know, ollie up the DTs to come right there, but they weren't.
I feel like we must have,
and it's a long game. Like, what?
Yeah.
You know, I get canceling tech early on. But like,
I feel like we must have missed something. There has to be some reason why herO canceled it. Maybe it was getting scouted. Maybe it was, I can't imagine it being a feign, but also he was low on gas, so maybe he just thought he needed a couple more Stalkers and he could break.
Yeah, well, clearly herO kept thinking he was going to be able to break NightMare the whole game, and NightMare was obviously in a very comfortable spot where he was able to just kind of carry the game on. Can NightMare do it one more time? herO has not been able to take a game off this guy. NightMare alone may be the reason why herO is not going to go deep into another season of GSL Codas.
It's a crazy story right now here in Group B. All right, match point. NightMare 1 match away from advancing.
Crazy.
KZ Gaming, herO. Club NV, NightMare.
NightMare looking so good right now in PvP. 3-0 against herO so far today.
I'm really proud of him, man. I mean, this is crazy to be beating herO. You know, herO, we don't really talk about his PvP that much, but he's so good at it. I thought he was the best PvP in Korea, to be honest.
Well, I mean, control is such an important part
of
Protoss versus Protoss. As some NightMare fans here in the audience. It's just insane to me that NightMare, I mean, not only did he win series #1, and now he's one map win away from advancing to the round of 8 here against herO, but he's done it without dropping a single map.
It does seem like herO's theory is a little bit off. Like, everything he's trying to do isn't working at all. Like, when we saw that push coming, something in the game is telling herO that this is the time to crush the player, and it's happened a couple times, and his pushes are not working. NightMare is just able to hold, and that's, I think, what is maybe the most remarkable thing at all, is like, that was a late game PvP. PvP is a shorter matchup than some of the other matchups, guys. But the fact that he held the push on 4 bases while herO's on 3, like, committed to ending it, is wild.
I really thought he had a chance to break him too, especially when I saw the Dark Shrine at halfway done. I thought, okay, this is going to be too many fires for NightMare to put out in time. Eventually the push is going to be able to break when NightMare has to section off forces, you know, cancel Immortals, start building observers and deal with it, and then it just never came through. And I mean, I'm gonna have to go home and watch these replays once they get released to truly understand what happened there.
Yeah, well, you know, it's if you had told me, right, like, let's say I couldn't cast today, but I asked what happened. You say NightMare beats herO, guess how the game looks. I would have gone like, oh, proxy robo immortal soccer push, or, you know, it's something where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, like it's some one base thing, right? So, but instead it's like, my God, I mean, this is very complex PvP that NightMare is just kind of coming out on top of.
Yeah, NightMare's always been the kind of guy that can just really play all styles. He doesn't only all in. You know, sometimes we get these players that can qualify, especially Protoss players that can qualify for Codes, but don't get very deep. But they can only really macro and play defensively, or they can only really play hyper aggression and cheese. And NightMare, he's never been that guy. He's always been able to mix it up. It always feels like there's been a little bit of a skill difference between him and the other top Protosses that were able to advance deeper in the Codes. But now here he is, one map away, and oh my goodness, this Oracle actually spotting the proxy pylon here from NightMare. There's NightMare building another gateway back at home.
I don't know about
Wants
that
to get some
pylon
pressure
spot.
done.
I feel like you're going to get spotted with an Oracle no matter what there. It's in the path of the beeline.
Yeah, I mean,
the base.
maybe if the Oracle, maybe if it's built over here by the top left gas geyser, then it doesn't catch it. But yeah, it is a little bit questionable. herO instead just walks down and takes that out, no problem at all. You got to think that NightMare, similar to game #1 in their first series, wanted to do just some light 3-gate pressure, but instead just going to go build a Twilight Council behind this, play nice and safe back at home, and really solid stuff all around so far. Let's see if herO can find some damage here with these 2 Oracles.
Uh-oh. Yeah, he does get 2 probes, not bad. Oracle's a little bit bruised here.
It's a couple more as well with these Adepts. That is nice play. 5 in total. All right, better than it went. I was a little scared for this, the Oracle that right now is stuck in the corner with about 1/3 of its HP left. I thought that one might be going down as Blink has started for both players at pretty much parallel times. Yeah,
and so it's just going to be Stalker build-up. That probably means this game can't end anytime soon. I mean, both players are basically playing safe defensive, although herO is coming out with a couple pokes and prods here with those Oracles.
Yeah, I imagine if herO is able to get some more damage done with these Oracles, which will be hard to do considering how high the Stalker count is. And of course, I say that he just comes in and gets 4 more probes somehow. I mean, just herO things. I mean, you trade the Oracle for that at this point, I think, and you're quite happy about it. 34 probes to 27 is a nice differential to have. And maybe this gives herO the confidence to, if both these players reach 3 bases, actually go for a timing. And if it's pure blink versus pure blink, this 5+ worker lead might translate into, you know, a handful more stalkers that is what breaks the camel's back. All right, so herO now posturing over by the gold base in the top left. I think he might be going for it. I saw you start choking there. I was like, what are your thoughts on this, Tasteless?
I just choked just sitting here. I just choked on my own spit. This is a dangerous job. You guys don't understand.
We're also on the second deck. We could easily fall to our doom.
I choked on my spit and then, all right, I'm back. Oh my God.
Yeah, so.
Sorry, go ahead.
herO moving across during all of this. He's not building a robo. There's not a warp prism underway. He moved his probe across the gold base to what would be a 4th base over here at the 9 o'clock position. So this is not using any investment into minerals and gas for a warp prism, for a robotics facility. It means that herO's going to have even more stalkers. He's just relying on this pylon. And now here he comes in. Nice early engagement here for herO. It's a fantastic start. Should be able to pick off some of these sentries as well, but instead focusing down stalkers. NightMare, though, got to be careful.
Yeah,
pushing out across like this.
Guardian Shield, man, he's got the sentry for most of that fight in such a good spot. He's just closing in on him.
Yeah, he's closing in. I mean, the 4-stalker warp in here is so delayed. Now, finally, the reinforcements do come in, but the stalker count's only 3 in advantage here for herO, and NightMare feeling confident enough to actually throw down a Nexus, I think. There's the probe. You know, he's considering it. Might instead opt to expand down to the bottom side. Very important decision coming out from NightMare and where to expand here and exactly what timing. Behind this, herO already throwing down that 3rd Nexus and this Forge, as I think he might have gotten spooked a little bit by NightMare's defense.
Yeah.
Might not think he can end the game.
But, you know, it's the same story, isn't it? It's like every time it's like herO comes out and then NightMare, you know, basically parries the attack.
It feels like herO is trying to skill check a player that is worse for him time and time again, but NightMare is actually able to keep up.
I like the way that you put that. Yeah, he's like doing these skill checks and it's kind of backfiring. It's actually sometimes putting herO in a worse position.
But I like the way that this one has gone because, especially given the way, you know, map number 1, map number 2, and then here in the final set, map number 3 have played, NightMare is kind of in the mindset that herO is just going to try to kill me, right? This has been the MO for herO throughout this entire day, both in Series 1 and in Series 2. We have another attack coming in, just trading a couple of stalkers out, but herO is leaning into that thought process from his opponent by taking this faster 3rd base, getting the faster Forge. He's starting upgrades, NightMare hasn't yet. He's getting charged on his Twilight Council. NightMare still just sitting on Blink. Because NightMare right now, he's in defensive mode, and if he gives herO a little bit too much time to build up like this back at home, then suddenly it's going to be herO who can just kind of play the more defensive game, even adding in, oh, I was going to say a second robo. It's actually the first robo. I forgot for a moment that, oh, herO, you sly dog.
I love this.
Doesn't even need the gas, just going for the mid-roll. we get the bird yapping again over there in the corner. But just the way that this one's going out, it feels like, especially with NightMare adding in, Glaives and 3 gateways. Yeah, he's going to go for an all-in, I think.
Well,
Glaives.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind that herO's double expanding, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think the observer's shown the Nexus at the far right, or if he did, I missed it. There it is.
Oh my goodness. When you said double expand, I thought you meant the triangle 3rd and the gold. No, he's going up to 5 bases.
I think this is like exactly what you would do to lose to a timing attack, is make 2 more Nexuses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to try to call it too soon, but I mean, I don't think the numbers are there, right?
It should be NightMare's best shot because of the double expansion, but the thing is,
the only way that this could go better for NightMare is if herO made another Nexus on top of it.
Or maybe even another one on top of that. It takes all the Nexuses on the map. But, you know, even with Glaives coming in like this, the stalker count for herO is high enough. You know, Charge Zealots against Glaives, they're not that bad. I mean, yes, the Glaive Adepts, they do have that bonus damage, but when you're mixed in with complicated armies like this, the Zealots are also going to be absorbing shots from Stalkers and from Immortals, which is less overall damage on your army. So it does balance out a little bit. And with herO also defending back at home, he's going to have a bit of an advantage in that sense. And also keep in mind the upgrades. herO right now, he has +1. NightMare doesn't have a Forge yet. herO's getting +2. So any time that waits, or that NightMare waits, I should say, could come back to buy them. Now, I understand wanting to reach critical mass here with these Adepts, but it is truly all going to come down to this push for NightMare. I don't know if herO realizes the severity of the situation right now, Tasteless.
He's not seeing. Okay, it's like the last possible second he spots that.
Oh man, this is a dangerous situation. I would not be surprised if the Shades
the
came in.
Of all units, that's the unit that gets stuck on the outside. The backbone of your army.
Oh, this is crazy. 25 Adepts right now on the field, more being warped in. And there is an Archon and a shield battery. Overcharge gets popped on that battery. A lot of firepower here for NightMare, though. This is a nice angle for him to attack into, especially with these two Immortals now blinking in to set up a concave. That's going to cue herO in to try and attack, but this force field doing so much work.
I mean, it seems like there should just be enough here for NightMare. It does seem like these Adepts are kind of getting log jammed in the back, and the Immortals are going down. The angle is actually so much better for herO. I can't believe it. I think he's actually going to win this game.
I think herO's been able to do it. That was a dangerous attack, though. Hanging on a thread. The probes needed to get pulled, but herO able to hold on, and NightMare, although the supplies right now are even, is getting pushed back, and he's on 3 bases to herO's 5, including the gold. No forge upgrades to the +2 ground weapons of herO, and I think herO from this position, you just build a Warp Prism. He even has one on the map. You just push and win.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I really thought that was going to work.
It was close. It was very close.
He basically took a very bad fight on that ramp.
All right, well, herO pushing now into the 3rd base, and
you know, herO may ultimately still have a losing record versus NightMare, but he wins this game. If he wins one more after this, he moves on. GG.
Yeah. Wow, what a game. This has been a fascinating series between these two.
It's
both
been a
in
fun
series
day.
number 1 and series number 2. I love that strategy from NightMare. It was kind of a unexpected decision to go for a Glaives all-in on 3 bases. But it definitely caught herO off guard and almost won him the game. It's just really difficult to make those timings work. As you said, coming into attack there at the 3rd base on the ramp, Adepts, they're prone to getting logjam behind those higher range Stalkers. It's hard to get a favorable concave unless you really fight on an open field, but herO with a defender's advantage can kind of choose the battleground, so to speak, and just fight with the battery, use his Nexus to mitigate the concave a little bit. And after a very close game number 2, we're going to the final map of
This
Group
is
B.
it. This is the last game of the evening. I'm not sure what to make of all this. Again, that was such a weird... I'll have to go back and actually look at that game, because that game was so weird.
Same with Gresvin. It's just been an interesting series between these two.
And I mean, I don't think it's crazy for me to think if you make 2 Nexuses and the other guy's going for a timing attack, the guy that makes 2 Nexuses loses, but here we are. Anyways, guys, game 3 starts now.
2023 GSL Season 2. DKZ Gaming, herO.
A lot of fan support for herO. What a story for NightMare, though.
Club NV, NightMare.
This is a guy that, in the past 3 years, competing in international tournaments and home story cups and IEMs, here in the GSL as well, has had a hard time of getting deep in tournaments. And you know, regardless of the way the results go today, he will have a winning record versus herO here in Group B. He might not advance, but right now, just on the precipice, you can just see how much he's been improving over the years. It's inspiring, really. I mean, that kind of dedication just to continue to keep fighting and fighting to get better.
It's impressive, man. By the way, both players going for Pylon at their natural and Gate at their natural.
Yeah, on a map like Altitude with its high ground expansion, it's very difficult to actually break this with an all-in.
Very, very enticing to take another base right away.
Yeah. It took a long time for Protoss to figure out exactly how to do this against, especially, you know, a proxy robo all-in, for example. But Stargate units are just strong enough that, you know, shield batteries, some units on the high ground, board race getting pumped.
Sustain.
Yeah, I mean, Vision just plays such a crucial role that you really can't go for the fast expand. And now it's actually herO doing the pylon block.
They're both doing
yeah,
it
they're
to
both
each
doing
other.
it, in fact.
They're both going to force each other into one-base play.
Just ends up with Immortals on the map
yeah,
anyway. They're both throwing down pylons again. herO cancels that one, throws down another. As I mean, both these players honestly just being really mean, messing up each other's build orders to the best of their abilities.
Yeah, whatever they can do to trip each other up.
Yeah, now the big difference here is that NightMare had pumped out a Zealot and now is chrono boosting a Stalker, whereas herO, I don't think he made a Zealot out of his Gateway. I think perhaps just the Stalker. He opted for the, oh no, I'm stand corrected, Zealot's right there. But opting for a faster Stargate here is herO, so he's going to be teching a little bit more quickly than his opponent.
Well, we are finally going to get those Nexuses up.
It took a minute.
Yeah, it took it.
Almost would have liked a gentleman's agreement, just like,
Yeah,
could just both expand, like, not make each other miserable. I mean, does this really have to be as hard as it is?
I know. It was a down and dirty game there early on. And so, look, I mean, there's a lot of different games that can come from here. We do have an Oracle coming for herO. And it's going to be a little bit of time for that. But that's very ordinary play here from herO.
Yeah.
And we're going to wait and see what exactly that tech is going to be here from NightMare. I don't believe he's revealed that yet.
Shield Battery just now morphing in here on the high ground, so no hull damage on these units. Oracle out on the map will try to find some damage. Of course, NightMare back at home does have a Shield Battery already up in the main base, so that can mitigate the damage from one Oracle at least. Second Oracle is in production, and Twilight Council, tech of choice here for NightMare.
Yeah. And so this is basically the tech that we had in a previous game as well with these two.
Yeah.
Although, you know, funnily enough with these two guys, it does seem like early game is inconsequential when these two players play to how the rest of the game looks. Where I feel like a lot of PvP, normally that's all you have to follow.
I think game one was the only match where the early game really did matter. When we had that proxy pre-gate in the middle, I felt like NightMare was able to get an advantage out of that one because herO just kind of locked himself in on one base play when he really should have expanded. But yeah, besides that, really, it's just been the mid-game decision-making out of both of these guys that has decided the fates, decided the outcomes of each of these games. And it's one of the things that makes it so much more interesting to watch. I mean, PvP as a matchup has evolved so much over the years. I remember back, even the early days of Legacy of the Void, it just being one-base battles, non-stop, even with like pylon rushes and stuff, and Heart of the Swarm. I mean,
yeah, it was crazy.
Improved so much. Personally, my favorite mirror matchup to cast. I think you said
PvP,
pretty much the same thing.
I always find every game, you know, so different and interesting. But, you know, going on in this game, these two guys have proven to, you know, pretty easily both end up in late game PvP over and over again. So there's going to be the Robotech starting up here now for NightMare as things are going to continue to develop. And it kind of unsurprisingly in the final game of our show tonight with, you know, these two players in the rematch, it's been an extraordinarily passive game. Nobody's really done anything just yet. I think there's a lot of respect being given on both sides here.
Yeah, especially on altitude. There really isn't too much to get done as both players just powering up. Blink research about halfway for both, and herO going to be the first player to go for an expansion. NightMare following suit right behind him, will be about 15, maybe 30 seconds behind should he throw down that Nexus. And although we are getting here in a little bit of a different way, relatively mirrored compositions, I think, are in store for us, with both players going for Blink, going for these robotics facilities, these third bases. NightMare just with a slight advantage in the Stalker count, and herO, a couple more workers.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have much else happen for the time being. Nobody can really leave an attack into the other one just yet. And so it's basically an arms race, although the build order patterns are slightly different here. We do have the Forge coming here for herO, which is another nod that he will probably not be doing much for a little bit.
It's a nice stasis ward, although nothing really is going to come of this. It still is nice. Catches 5 Stalkers right there in the middle of the map. And I'm watching this production tab, and we still have no Forge for NightMare, which makes me think that he's going to be committing quite heavily to a Blink Stalker attack, if I'm not mistaken. There really hasn't been any development on his side tech-wise or upgrade-wise for the past couple of minutes, and even the probe count you know, it was about a 4-worker lead for herO in the past, and that's grown, which means that NightMare is not prioritizing worker production quite as much as his opponent is. So for NightMare, if he does decide to commit to this attack, he's really going to have to get something done. And yeah, with a Warp Prism now in production, I really do think that's the way this is going to go. And this is going to be a bit scary here for herO. You see him throwing down a lot of gateways right now. He has almost half the Stalker count, 10 to 19, herO versus NightMare, as he's opting to go into +1 ground weapons, Templar Archives, and Charge. But NightMare, with really good control, might be able to get a lot of value out of these Blink Stalkers.
And so we have, yeah, definitely a little bit of a dangerous moment. I thought he might actually push out, but he's going to stay there for a little bit longer. Templar Archives coming here. herO is really beginning to fill in the rest of that tech. And I do want to point out, you know, historically, we don't cast that many long PvPs. This has been a very funny day.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Think about how many PvPs you've seen where, like, they both have 4 bases.
And
it's really rare, especially in GSL. So I'm really excited that we have a game that looks like this.
And I'm a little surprised back at home that NightMare is going for a Templar Archives now and adding in Immortals, because I really thought, based on the way this one was shaping up, that he was going to gun for a timing attack, but now he's going for a Forge, and ground weapons level 1 already completed here for herO. So the fact that NightMare now is slowing down the game on his side makes me think that herO is going to start to have a very good advantage, unless NightMare can somehow find a way to begin to eke out value with these Blink Stalkers.
Yeah.
That really is his edge, is having 25 Blink Stalkers to the 13 of herO. But as these armies continue to get bigger and better, you know, the player that has more Archons, more Charge Zealots, and better upgrades, which in this case is going to be herO, will have the advantage overall. So it's a scary position now for NightMare, especially with his 4th base getting canceled.
Yeah, that's a pretty big snipe, because that just changes the economic tempo so much. It was a snipe and not a trade. It wasn't like he had to bleed off a bunch of Stalkers to do that. So that's a pretty big moment. But you're 100% right, Stade. The reality is that once you have a more sophisticated army with Archons and Charge Lots and all that, the Stalkers are not as important.
All right, well, herO is positioning outside of this 4th base. Has decided this wants to be the focal point of his strategy for the next few minutes.
The herO, this is going to sound so basic, but it might just work. He might just want to wait for this Nexus to finish an attack in and try to win the game.
It's possible.
Because he's already getting the perks from his 4th base, and so he should be able to muster just a little bit more. You can look at his supplies. He's like a little bit ahead. It's 97 army supply to 89.
He will have +2 ground weapons for a very short window against none of his opponent.
This might be like a very, very basic victory.
Yeah.
Where, you know, we've kind of built up to this moment. We're almost at 11 minutes. Whoa.
NightMare, you do not want to move out right now. Be careful. Oh, these stasis wards also deadly. You can see herO trying to bait him a little bit into them. One stasis ward catching the Stalkers will end the game, should it happen.
Yeah. Now, I mean, we got to see how the engage actually goes, but basically the Nexus is done. Normally that's the ideal time to then hit it, right? Because it's finished so you can kill it off, but it's also, you haven't gotten the benefits of the resources that you mine from it. He's maxed out. I mean, I don't know what else he would need to tee this up.
He wants to make some more disruptors. I think he's expecting NightMare to also mostly be maxed out, and he hasn't seen any disruptors, especially with this revelation. So that's probably going to be the key here for herO. And actually, no, he's feeling confident enough to push down this ramp at least a little bit already. But once those disruptors enter the fray, it's going to be very hard for NightMare to hold on. And tasteless, here are the disruptors. The attack is commencing.
Yeah, he's moving in right now. And, you know, this is a very tight area. So, I mean, disruptor shots, it's going to be very difficult to try to avoid them.
Oh, that disruptor shot. I think it got sniped right there in the front, so wasn't quite able to connect. But the front line here for herO is so powerful. So many Archons, so many Zealots. As we trade blows here, and now herO with a +20 army supply advantage. As now disruptors for NightMare have entered the field. Just one glancing shot on an Archon. The second shot misses. Warp Prism roving adventurously forward here. Might get focused down. Oh, it's a bait! The disruptor balls come in.
This is over. herO is just going to topple NightMare. NightMare had an amazing run with his PvPs, but at the end of the day, herO is the king, and he is going to be moving on into the round of 8.
It does look that way, Tasteless. More Warpins coming here for NightMare, but his supply is dwindling. The 4th Nexus falls. The Disruptor shot's very good. NightMare might be able to live on a little bit more, but you can feel the momentum swinging right now with herO on 5 bases to NightMare on 3. A 40 supply advantage, a more nuanced army. The only thing he's really lacking right now in is the Disruptors, and you got to think that herO, 1 or 2 more Warpins, if he goes for it, he can win this game.
No, I mean, I think we're basically at the end here. I think herO's just not overdoing it. He's just going to regroup. You can see he's orbiting around the outside. He said, "Are there any other Nexuses here?" No. Okay, then I really am about to end this game. And I think that's good. Instead of just feeding in and maybe overextending. Oh my word.
That's a nice catch there by NightMare, but the supplies just truly tell the story. 177 to 125 is they're just trying desperately.
He just targets down the Nexus.
Wow. I mean, +2 ground weapons just coming through in space there. It goes down so quickly, and now herO getting a good eye on where the Disruptors are exactly. Links back, dodges that shot. Oh. Trading blows here.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to hype this. Oh my God!
Oh no! That was a big blunder there by herO. A lot of Stalkers getting taken out.
That was so bad.
I mean, there is a world where NightMare is able to stabilize here because it's so hard to attack into Disruptors, but he's going to have to need a couple more wins like that.
I was literally about to be like, well, sorry guys, it's kind of hard to hype this because there's like almost no way to come back, and then all those Stalkers get blown up.
Still, at the end of the day, it's a 3-base economy here for NightMare to the 5-base eco of herO. herO just firing on all cylinders right now, but some very bad unit movement, just to be frank about it.
He's getting a little bit clunky here at the end of this match.
That's going to be a nice trade. He gets 2 Disruptors back. But yeah, just a little bit hard. And I mean, it is very awkward trying to attack into a turtling Protoss in PvP with Disruptors.
Yeah.
So you can't fault herO much for this at all. I mean, he's one of the best in the world. I think these fights. Oh my goodness!
God, what is happening?
Might have jinxed that one, saying he's one of the best in the world, taking fights as these Disruptors blindside him completely. So many units getting taken out. The army supply is actually favoring NightMare now somehow, Tasteless. I can't believe it. As he now blinks in, takes down more Disruptors here for herO.
There's more Zealots coming in over here. They are going to eventually take those Archons out, as weird as that is to say. I got to say, man, like, I think herO could still win this, but, like, he needs to, like, focus in here for the next 2 or 3 minutes. Like, you can do this, but, like, you need to, like, be very attentive. You can't phone this in.
What was once a gargantuan lead has been whittled down to a much smaller one, as also the army upgrade differential has been closing. It's now +3 versus +2. NightMare soon himself will have +3 ground weapons. It's 31 Stalkers to NightMare to 10 for herO, so his army's way more microable, and that was a nice connection from herO, but I'm getting increasingly scared about his position here, Tasteless, despite being up in supply. I mean, look at how microable this army is here for NightMare.
I mean, NightMare has a huge army here. And look, he's just not getting hit by these Disruptor shots.
Oh my goodness,
dude,
another insane shot by NightMare. Somehow herO is getting the poor ends of these trades. Now charge lots are coming in. NightMare's gonna have to kite back, and supplies for the first time in what feels like minutes have evened up. Nice Disruptor shot there by herO, getting a little bit of counter damage in, but only 3 Stalkers, 10 Zealots on the field for herO to guard 1 Disruptor. 23 Stalkers and 5 Disruptors for NightMare. What looked like it was GG in any moment has been blundered, and now NightMare is knocking on herO's door.
All right, he's going to keep coming forward here.
My goodness.
Oh my God, he's going to drop more Stalkers. Unbelievable.
NightMare, I feel like he's just gaining so much momentum. The Disruptors are continuing to come out here for herO, but the Stalker count is so low. NightMare now able to blink forward and one-shot these Disruptors. The second Robo will get taken out. The Robotics Bay also should get sniped here, and the Triangle Third of herO.
I mean, the army supply is so much bigger right now for NightMare. I'm actually under the impression that he could snowball this.
I think he might win this game. 36 Stalkers right now to a meager number of Stalkers here on herO's side. herO has bled out too many units.
All right, herO's going to find the Warp Prism. That's one little victory, but he's going to need to do a lot of work if he's going to come out on top here.
Being able to catch 2 disruptors.
Oh my God!
How?
How is this real?
I can't understand how those stalkers get caught there. herO once again using a significant chunk of his army is now NightMare. Although he is in a corner, he has a massive ball of stalkers. With one more blink, they should be able to work their way out.
This is like the comeback of the century.
I can't believe what we're seeing. herO went from a position that felt like it was unlosable. And NightMare just, through pure tenacity, takes every advantage he could possibly get. And is just picking herO apart bit by bit. 40 stalkers!
I mean, this is unreal.
No disruptors on the field at all right now for NightMare. It is pure stalkers, 41 in total. He's on a 4-base economy. Blinking now forward. Disruptors are going down. There's no disruptors left on the field here for herO.
He's going to continue to kite over here until the Zealots can get thinned out. War Prism joins the group. The stalker count is absurd. You have to imagine there's a War Prism inbound here for NightMare.
Absolutely crazy what we're seeing, and it seems like NightMare, he thinks his ticket to success right now is just going to be the Blink Stalkers. He has 40 in total, doubling the count right now of herO, but herO with his Charge Zealots might be able to make something happen. The Warp Prism also rallied in.
herO got so sloppy here at the end.
It feels like he might slowly be stabilizing now this front line of Charge Zealots as NightMare is microing back, the supplies dead even. So I almost feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience watching this happen.
This is bizarre.
I have never seen herO in any game I've casted or watched from him in IAMs and GSLs in any tournament bleed out so many units over and over and over again. It's stalkers running into disruptor shots. It's stalkers not blinking away from disruptor shots. It's him getting caught by his opponent's disruptors. It's him rallying Warp Prisms into his army. And I mean, you could tell NightMare, he's doing everything in his power right now. He's distance mining from what would be his 5th base because it is still so close. He's fighting tooth and nail, and now it's 161 supply to 160 tasteless.
Worker counts are basically even. herO does technically have a slightly bigger army, but you know that with supplies this close, it could just come down to who has a better angle or better control. There are 2 disruptors that are going to be incorporated here with the rest of the army.
A unit composition definitely more nuanced here for NightMare. He comes in again with another big connection. The second disruptor shot at least is dodged, but so much supply went down. And herO, I mean, he only has 1 Archon, 2 Immortals in total, compared to the 3 Archons right now of NightMare. And NightMare also with this disruptor coming in on the top side is going to try and find another connection. It is on cooldown. The Gateway army here for NightMare, absolutely massive disruptor shot coming in. We'll connect with the Zealots of herO on the top side. It feels like NightMare just might have more, but those Immortals doing so much work on the back line for herO.
And I mean, it does seem like he's starting to seesaw this action back over here. If he can come down and basically smash the 2 bottom bases, I think he can make this happen. This is an insane game.
Finally, the 5th base getting taken here for NightMare as he has the resources in the bank to build a Nexus instead of distance mining. I mean, he has been fighting for his life for the past 10 minutes now. And really, the stalker count for NightMare has been the main force at his disposal. Still with a significant advantage in that regard, 30 to 19. Trying to catch herO sleeping again. herO this time he is looking, so he will be able to maneuver away. As this game is just complete chaos. I almost feel like I'm out of breath.
No, I know. I'm actually having a hard time processing this game. It's been a PvP like none I have ever casted in my whole career.
I think we're getting to a position again where herO might be able to eke out an advantage. I mean, he's had more bases than his opponents, and one thing I would love to see right now is the units lost tab. I would love to see that so much. I mean, the disruptor shots have been so big for NightMare so far in this game. And again, his army, it's more nuanced. It seems like herO for the past couple of minutes has decided he's just not going to deal with disruptors. He's going to go pure gateway man, a couple of Immortals, and play that game. And that can be very dangerous once these Blink Stalker counts and disruptor counts get high.
herO's going to come in here and try to squash the 12 o'clock base. He's going to recall his army. I think this means herO has to recall away.
A recall coming in. Actually, no disruptors in with this. It's actually just stalkers, and herO has more right here, especially with these immortals and NightMare with a very bad engagement.
What?
He's getting
gonna do it
on here at the 12 o'clock position, and herO finally able to close it out. Oh my goodness! What a
game! Dude, herO went from having it won to almost losing, and then fighting back, and ultimately getting that victory. Wow, GG. That was insane. I've never quite seen a game like that. And I mean, look, herO had some great plays, but he had some really egregious blunders.
Yeah, that was insane. It felt like
there were like 7 or 8 disruptor shots that killed off as much damage as is in the disruptor shot, like that's available.
Yeah, it was
in the
max
radius
damage.
of the shot. Yeah.
Constantly, as NightMare was just able to find. It feels like the miracle hit time and time again. And I mean, what a valiant effort there by NightMare. You can really see that he has improved by strides here coming into Codes Season 2. So close to qualifying for top 8. Fantastic performance here in the final game, but curious to hear what our winner is going to say after that. I mean, my goodness.
It's crazy, man. We're going to go to that interview now. Let's see how herO's feeling. He is going on to the round of 8 and is the first non-Terran. Congratulations, herO. You were almost eliminated, herO. What a tough series you had to play in. How are you feeling? First of all, that was an exhausting match I played. I'm also aware that NightMare, he's improved a whole lot. I could see that he plays a lot better under pressure now than before. Since I eliminated RagnaroK, who's a close friend, I have even more motivation now that I've beaten these great players to move forward and go deep. I thought in that final map, all of it looked like you had it, and then suddenly NightMare was able to deflect everything you had. What was going on in your head in those moments? Yeah, sometimes whenever I think I've almost won the matchup, I think I get a little bit I play too hastily and try to close it out. So I was just like getting tunnel vision back there. And so I had to relax and kind of focus back in, and I was able to pull through. Any moment you thought you were going to lose for sure there? When NightMare pushed into my base and I realized I don't have any disruptors right now, I thought this is probably the scariest moment of the game for me. Because anybody who has more disruptors is going to have an edge in that moment. So Group B said, just like Mario had expected, that there was going to be some great games in there. You've made it to the quarterfinals. What are your determinations going forward? I think preparation for this round of 16 was, I can't say, in my entire pro gamer life, I put so much effort and prep into getting ready for today. But you guys saw it. There was moments of sloppiness in my play, and I'm deeply disappointed with that. So I hope I can come back and be better. Any words to your fans?
아쉬움이 굉장히 컸을 것 같은데 이번 GSL에선 좋은 성적 거둬서
I know that in the past I lost early on in other events. I'm going to try to do very well this time around. All right. Please keep supporting me. All right. Well, that's going to be that, guys. ByuN and herO move on. No Zergs in the round of 8 yet, although I'm sure we'll get some next week.
Yeah, nice to have some Protoss representation, especially good to see herO advancing to the round of 8. As shaky as that last game was.
That was such a shaky game.
I mean, he is still one of the best Protoss players in the world, bar none. I think definitely the best Protoss player in Korea right now.
He seems to be, there seems to be a hump he's going to have to get over here, but I mean, that's normal. You know, we're all growing, we're all evolving, and sometimes you get kind of stuck in a certain mode, or you haven't quite, I don't know, adapted to the way these guys are playing. Hey man, NightMare kind of stole the show tonight.
Yeah.
He played very, very well. You know, I think if he can iron out his other matchups, I think he's going to be a real threat coming forward here. Up next week on Tuesday, Dark Special, Gumiho, and Creator.
Yeah, our first foreigner representation here in 2023 and Special. Digging the new haircut too. I like that look. Very cool, and this should be a very fun group to watch.
I feel like we gotta have 8 Mile playing in the background when he's gonna come on stage.
Gumiho playing as well as ever, just absolutely on top of his game. Creator also always a pleasure to watch.
Yeah.
Special foreigner, I mean, Dark just goes without saying, one of the best Zergs of all time.
Dark will advance, I think.
Yeah, no surprise there. It's a bold prediction here, Tasteless.
I'm very brave, you know. I'm really going out there and going against the grain of what everybody else thinks, but Dark will advance. I do hope Special gets deep. I would love to see Special win a GSL. That would be a real treat.
Phenomenal to have a foreigner win a GSL.
He doesn't win many terms. He gets deep. He plays very well, but he's not the guy you go to as like, is he going to be a champion? So fingers crossed for that. And I can't think of anything else to say. I mean, it's just been a great day. Good to have the audience back here. Good to be in the studio.
Yeah, day 1 and day 2, just fantastic games all around. I mean, every single series from Group A, Group B have been spectacular. I'm sure we're going to have more of the same next week as we continue to work our way through the round of 16.
I think so. And if you need to get tickets, go there. Go to that link. You can buy them online. It's 8,000 won. That's like $6.
Yeah.
You're going to get hours of entertainment. Our tickets are not selling out. We do get a decent size audience, but it doesn't sell out until usually the finals. So
yeah, but tickets, they go on sale tomorrow for next week. So
that's right.
Tomorrow, go ahead and book those tickets early if you want to get a good seat. And yeah, we'll see you guys. Make sure you stay after the show. Say hi to us.
Say hi to us.
Try
Yes.
to say hi to the players.
Yeah,
they're still hanging around.
Yes, you can reach. You can bring your mouse pad. Get your mouse pad signed.
Ooh,
you know?
yeah.
And excellent work today, State.
Oh, it was fun games.
Cast. Really good games, man. This season's been actually incredible so far.
I feel like we're getting spoiled. You know, not only are we back in the studio, but also the games are so much better.
Yeah. We just got to hope that more Terrans lose, and it's going to be perfect. That's all the time we have, guys. We love you. We will see you on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. KST. Goodbye.